Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, and I am a little bit croaky today, as you can probably hear, but we've got new cards from Pokémon Card 151 that we need to have a look at, and come on, ladies and gentlemen, that sounds pretty exciting to me. Now, we got a Raichu here, and that is going to be a popular Pokemon. Everybody loves a bit of the old Raichu. Bearing in mind we have actually seen the Pikachu a while ago. And we got an Onix. And the Onix to me is super interesting because, of course, Onix is one of those Pokemon. Remember, Pokemon Card 151 we know is just featuring the original 151 Pokemon, the Kanto Pokemon. So we know there's no Steelix. Onix is one of those Pokemon that in Gen 1 in Kanto was fully evolved, or at least I suppose the phrase was supposed to use is had no known evolutions, but then gained an evolution later on. So this Pokemon set is a weird one, because what we've got here is a basic that we're printing in the set, that we know isn't getting an evolution in the set, but you still don't want to give it just a generic, boring, rubbish, evolving basic, because that's going to make a bunch of the set garbage. So you've got to try and make an interesting card, without making it too broken, because, of course, it's going to evolve into any Steelix that has been released and is kind of out in the world at the moment. That's very, very interesting to me. For anyone that's wondering, yes, we do have a couple of Steelix that are around at the moment that are legal in the game. We've got the one from Battle Styles, which is honestly kind of terrible. It's way too expensive. We've got the one from Fusion Strike, which is kind of interesting with Powerful Rage. We've got the one from Pokemon Go, which is kind of a little bit rubbish. We do, I suppose, technically already have Radiant Steelix. However, that's a very different thing. So that's why Onix is so interesting to me, because it's got an evolution, but we're not giving it the evolution in this particular set, and we've got to try and make it interesting anyway. And I'll tell you what, they've succeeded. It looks really, really interesting. But we're going to start off with Raichu here, and I do need to say that I did the translations for these all by my lonesome, and it took a while. These were awkward cards. I did chat with a lovely Antoine Boulet, obviously, but I did get these translations myself, and I am particularly proud of myself this morning, because these were an absolute pain to get. Boo, hiss, etc. So what we've got from Raichu then is an attack which is not terribly interesting or brilliant, but the ability is going to make it look a bit better in a moment. The attack for free energy does 180 and 50 to itself. It's fine. It's not particularly good, but it's fine. With a choice belt, it will get a lot of Pokemon Vs, but remember the key number for Pokemon Vs is 220, so 210 will be occasionally a little bit short, which is kind of annoying. But it's still 180, which is fine. What is interesting about Raichu is the ability. Also, if you can read katakana, just read exactly what it says on Raichu's ability, and you can have a little bit of a chuckle. When one of your Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move a lightning energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. Oh, and that is why I love this Raichu. It's got a built-in experience share. But what I really like about this is I'm playing a lightning deck. I'm playing Miraidon or something along those lines. And I kind of ignore Raichu. I just kind of whack him on the bench and I'll worry about him later. But every time my opponent takes a KO, I go and get an extra energy. And then after 3 KOs are taken, or 2 KOs and then I attach for the turn, all of a sudden Raichu's actually up and ready to go, and I've got a single prize attacker doing 180 damage, essentially for 0 energy. Now, we all know it's not for 0 energy, it's for free energy, but what I mean is I don't actually have to attach to Raichu. And that's what I like here. That's what I'm excited about here. I don't want to attach to Raichu. I want to use Raichu's ability to get the energy on there naturally. That's what I want to be doing here. I want the energy to come on here from other KOs So I never have to worry about Raichu, and then later on in the game, and obviously I can't let my opponent KO 3 Pokemon EXs, that should be obvious, but at some point in the game, I end up in a situation where I've actually got Raichu for free. That is what I want, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I'm going for. And that is why I think this card could be good. To be clear, I don't think it's good as a general Pokemon. I think the HP is too low, and free energy 180 is not quite good enough on HP that low. But I think in a situation where we are specifically using this essentially for free, then I like it very, very much indeed, and it's very, very cool. But the Onix here, that is the one that I really, really like. Because what we've got here is an attack for 2 colourless energy. 4 energy, 100, boo, etc. Nobody cares. 120 on a basic is okay. But for 2 colourless energy, discard the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack does 80 damage for each Pokemon with a retreat cost of exactly 4 discarded in this way. And look, we all know this is going to be awkward, and we all know this is going to be a pain. That is not a surprise. But that's up to 400 damage. And realistically, you don't need 5, you need 3. 3 is 240. 240 will get basic EXs, it will get Pokemon V, and it will get, not really Stage 1 EXs to be fair. So 3 to get a lot, and then 4 will put you up to 320, which will get V stars, and Stage 1 EXs and a bunch of Stage 2 EXs. Almost everything will be got with 4. There are a few exceptions. So what we need to do here is basically just pile our deck completely full of single prize 4 retreat cost Pokemon. Now, the reason I say single prize is very simple. These are going to be dropping like flies. So this is a deck where you can't really be affording to give up 2 prizes. You do need to actually try and go single prize here. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way I'm going to be playing this. And you better believe I am going to be playing around with this. This is exactly my kind of deck, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And there is another card I really want to combine this with. You ready? Dondozo. I love the idea of pairing this with Dondozo, because Dondozo already uses 2 colourless energy, and it's 50 damage for each Tatsugiri in your discard pile. Now, I will admit Tatsugiri does not have a retreat cost of 4, and I know that's actually kind of annoying. This is not lost on me, alright? However, I've got 2 basic Pokemon here, both of which use 2 colourless energy, and not for nothing, but if I'm attacking with Onix, I will occasionally accidentally start discarding Tatsugiri and then fueling this attack, and that's gonna be kind of hilarious. I genuinely, legitimately love the idea of these 2 together. Is it going to work? I don't know. But let's not forget that Tatsugiri is drawn by Okacheke, and we have an artwork rare of Dondozo drawn by Akira Igawa. If nothing else, I can get my art on, and you better believe I'm hoping for a Hyganasuke Onix here, because that will be amazing. There are some other cool little things you can do here. So, for instance, you can play Wailord. The one from Silver Tempest works, or the one from Crown Zenith works. Either of those is fine. But what I like about these as an example is that you can't start with them because they're stage 1s. So one cool thing you can do in a deck like this, if I want to play, for instance, Onix with Dondozo, I can fill my deck out with a bunch of Wailord, because let's face it, Wailord is awesome. Wailord is rapidly jumping up my list of favourite Pokemon. I've got a lot of love for the Wailord right now. But my point is that I can use Wailord as a stage 1, knowing that I'm not going to start with it. And then you can just go for other little tricks. The Snorlax from Pokemon Go, that stops your opponent retreating. We know that at the moment there are a bunch of decks out there that are just not playing enough switching cards. So using this block Snorlax can legitimately win you games by gusting up something that can't... Well, there's no amount of switches, and then nothing can retreat because Snorlax is in the active, and then all of a sudden your opponent just kind of sits there crying because they've lost the game because Snorlax is blocking them. That's a fun thing you can have a play with. You can genuinely, legitimately play the Mamoswine from Astral Radiance, and yes, this is another reason I'm thinking about this, because you don't need to play the pre-evolutions, you just use Mamoswine as a Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4, and then all of a sudden I'm playing a deck which actually genuinely has Mamoswine in, and you have no idea how happy that makes me. And I know it could literally be any evolved Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4, and there are a bunch of them out there. I don't care. It's an excuse to actually play Mamoswine. But then things do get awkward. Because, you know, if you want to play a Radiant Pokemon, the only Radiant Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4 is Steelix. That is literally your only option. Now, you can play non-retreat cost 4 Pokemon. Obviously, you can. But every time you play a Pokemon that has a retreat cost of not 4, and I'm already thinking I want to play 4 Tatsugiri in this deck, then all of a sudden you run into the possibility of just not doing enough damage with Onix. Now, the good news is you can use double turbo energy to fuel this. The bad news is it will reduce damage done by 20, so you have been warned. But you can also use any energy acceleration whatsoever, which is rather lovely. But I do need to mention that Twin Energy has rotated. Twin Energy with this deck would be absolutely nuts. So that's my thoughts on Onix. I'm giving it 4 Wassies. I'm already hyped about this. I legit want to play this. I want to build a deck around it. I am very excited. Raichu, I'm giving 3 Wassies. I like it as a potential free attacker, but I'm also fully aware that it's kind of sitting on your bench, it's a liability, etc, etc. But still, it's an interesting card. You excited for Pokemon 151 yet? I am. I really, really am. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. And you can get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now, one of our biggest supporters we've had since we've been doing this. So shout out to them for the support and being a lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.